Hello, this is the tutorial on making fire. I just want to say this is based on Alexey Fedorov's video, but I'm going to explain it a little bit. So we're in Substance Designer. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new substance graph, and we're going to pick empty. Just call this fire sprite, something like that. So right now I'm just creating the project name for the image we're going to use. We're going to leave it at everything at default settings and hit OK. So now we're in the graph and there's nothing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a shape. And for this shape, I want it to be a blurry circle. So I'm going to scroll down here and change this to Gaussian. And then I'm going to create a directional warp. And I want it to warp up. So I'm going to create another shape. So I'm just going to copy paste this, put it here. And for this one, the second one, I'm gonna make it thinner and I'm gonna make it longer. So I'm gonna go into here in the Y and I'm gonna increase it past its natural amount. This is to warp it, but I want it to warp not like this, but up. So I'm gonna change this amount to 270. Okay, but that's still looking a little different than I want. So I actually want this one to become smaller too. Um, okay, so, well, it looks like it's doing kind of what I want, but it's sort of the other direction. So let me rotate it the other way. Um, Instead of being 270, we're going to rotate it 90. Okay, that's looking better. Following this, we actually, well, let's actually try to make this look better. Uh, and let's make this one thinner. What am I doing wrong? Actually, instead of making the Y bigger, let me just try to make the scale bigger and make this back to 1. See if that does it. Let's make this a lot smaller. We're kind of getting it. And now what's missing is we should increase our intensity of this directional warping until it looks right. I'm going to play with this size again until it feels like a flame that I want. That looks good. Okay. Following that, we're gonna add a levels node to increase the whites, and we're gonna bring the gamma down a little bit and also crunch the values a little, just so we have a more fire looking brightness in the middle. Following this, I'm gonna use a blend, and I'm gonna make this blend have add, and I'm actually gonna copy this first one and put it in the top part. And when I move this opacity, so add is selected, when I move this opacity, I determine the degree to which it's the top and bottom. What I'm doing here is I want to blend and create a different shaped circle, a little bit smaller, a little bit wider. This is going to be the flame on the bottom part. So yeah, now we're going to duplicate this whole part and flip it upside down in order to make up the bottom part of the flame. So I'm going to tie this into another blend. And right now it's just the same. If I change the opacity, I mean, it's a little different, but oh, right now I'm in copy. I need to change from blending mode copy to add. I want to flip this upside down. So this is where I do 270. And I want to decrease the amount that this second one is. So I can create this sort of flame on the bottom and the top. And yeah, I think I like this. It's a little harsh for a real flame, so let's turn the opacity down a bit until it feels good. Okay, that looks good. Let's add a couple more transforms just to make this look a little bit better. So we're gonna do a blend node, but we're gonna blend it with itself and we're gonna use an overlay. So what does overlay do? Overlay is combines dark and light areas. What does that mean? It basically takes the lighter areas and takes the previous image, and if it's over a certain percentage, like over 50%, it will make it even more white. And if it's under a certain, like the RGB is under a certain amount, it'll make it more dark. So effectively, we're increasing the contrast here. We want to change the degree to which the overlay affects it. We're just trying to uh, change this flame a little bit, and then we're also going to add a levels to affect the contrast. Okay, so this levels, we're gonna bring it up, something like, yeah, just a little bit. And then we're going to connect this all to an output. And so that is going to be our flame texture. In order to export this, so after connecting it to an output, I'm going to right click on Fire Sprite. I'm going to go export outputs. I'm going to choose my location. I'm going to select it. I'm going to do export outputs. And then if I go back here and I go back to my um, I pasted the folder, I can get the name of the, okay, so this was called just output. So it should just save here as, oh, it's going to be this one. So this is our fire. This is the one that I did previously, but this is this one. Okay, so now our fire is ready to export into Unreal. So see you in Unreal.